We are all set to go once again for game number 2 here from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and Estadio Olímpico. Félix Sánchez, this quarterfinal featuring El Salvador and Mexico from the Concacaf Women's Under-20 Championship. I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for being with us. A look at the pitch conditions today. It is a warm evening here as the lights will start to take effect, and there is plenty of rain coming out of the sky as well. A light breeze as well in the forecast, but it should be interesting conditions. You can see the standing water all the way around the field.
Para que ahora guarden un momento de silencio para reflexionar sobre los horribles actos de violencia que ocurrieron durante el fin de semana en Querétaro, México, y para dejar claro que este tipo de comportamientos no tienen cabida en el fútbol ni en la sociedad. No más violencia. Lo que está mal, está mal.
Building up to first kick between El Salvador and Mexico on a rainy evening here in Santo Domingo. A look at Eric Acuña's starting lineup for El Salvador. No changes from their 5-2 win over the Dominican Republic, and really throughout the 4 previous games El Salvador has played, there have not been almost any changes into the starting 11, so Eric Acuña riding with the same players that have gotten him here. They have gone to the bench quite a bit as the game has progressed, but the leader in goal scoring, Jocelyn Uribe, along with Victoria Sánchez, have both scored 3 goals in this competition. And a look at the referees today. Melissa Borjas Pastrana from Honduras will be in the middle. Natalie Simon is the 4th official for today's game. And of course the captains Annette Vasquez and Victoria Sanchez. So all set to go there with the 2 captains and the coin toss. And a big assignment for this refereeing crew tonight, as the winner will move on to the semis. A look at the VAR room. Tim Ford will be the VAR referee, assisted by Odette Hamilton of Jamaica. So an experienced crew there, looking at all the angles from those monitors there in the VAR room. And that'll give us a chance to look at Maribel Dominguez starting 11 for Mexico, and it features 7 changes from that 9-0 win over Curacao just the other day. Aylin Aviles, who has 6 goals and leads this Mexico team in goal scoring, she starts on the bench. The one to watch in terms of goal scoring, Maritza Maldonado, who has 4 goals. And that should get us set to go for this one. Mexico has scored quite a bit in this competition. They also have yet to concede a goal, so that back line has played very strong so far in this competition. And it'll also be a change in goal today. Celeste Espino will be in between the pipes for Mexico, while Paula Manrique moves to the bench. So that pretty much gets us set for first kick. You can see Mexico in the black. It is El Salvador in all white. And we are just about set to go under rainy skies here from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. And Estadio Olímpico, Félix Sánchez. The lights fully in effect here in Santo Domingo as we wait for the whistle from Melissa Borjas Pastrana. She sets her watch, and away we go. And right off the opening kickoff, it is El Salvador streaming into the attack. This is how they like to play, really high pressure, high octane type of style of play, which makes for usually a fun watch from at least a neutral perspective. For Mexico, I'm sure they've watched some film and they know what to expect from this El Salvador team. But of course it is Mexico who are the favorites coming into this match, the 2nd ranked entrant coming into this competition. And of course they are the 2018 champions in their 11th appearance in this competition. As we just mentioned a moment ago, they have not conceded a goal. A 3-0 win over Panama, 5-0 over Guyana, another 5-0 win over Honduras, before a 9-0 victory over Curacao. Well, that's what Eric Acuña's team has to battle against tonight. A stingy defense, but this El Salvador team coming into the box early. And it's Espino who has to dive onto this one, getting her jersey nice and wet already on this slick surface, which could create a little bit of chaos for these goalkeepers if it's a low shot bouncing on this surface. We'll see how it plays out. And again, trying to go right through the middle is El Salvador. Going back to that 5-2 win just on Friday. That was in San Cristobal, so this is their first game actually being played in this venue. But they scored 4 just incredible goals from 30+ yards out. The other one came on a corner kick. If you haven't seen them, go back and watch the highlights when you get a moment. It was really tremendous what El Salvador was able to do the other day. We'll see if they can kind of recreate some of that here today. Bigger stage, a bigger venue, as this is where the rest of this competition will be contested in the semifinals, the final, and of course the third place game. And those semifinals carry quite a bit of weight as the two winners will move on to the Under-20 World Cup. That'll be later on this summer in Costa Rica. Even if you lose one of those semifinals, though, you still have an opportunity to get in if you can win the third place game. So a lot on the line for these teams as they take to the field tonight. And you can already see that standing water there right in front of Eric Acuña's technical area for El Salvador. You can see those dots on the back of the white jerseys, all that mud kicking up off this very wet turf. Throwing down the line. And now Sánchez tries to play it over the top. This has been a good start for El Salvador, trying to put some pressure on this Mexico side. That really hasn't had to deal with a whole lot in terms of chances defensively. Again, it's Espino to clear this away. The initial pass was off the mark, but a bad deflection might spring Mexico into the attack, as it's Andrea Dada playing sweeper keeper, able to step up and clear this one away. There'll be a throw-in upcoming here for Mexico. It will be interesting to see if Mexico do concede a goal. Well, that's the first thing. The second thing is how they would react to conceding, as they have yet to do so in this competition. That was some good skill under pressure by Samantha Lopez coming out of the back. Batista. Mexico will slow things down here at the back, all the way to the goalkeeper, Espino. You can already see some of that pressure coming from El Salvador as this ball's played over the top, and maybe a chance for Mexico to get in behind. Dada coming way off her line. The shot, though, is going wide. A great opportunity for Mexico to find that opener, and it's Tatiana Flores. Has scored once so far over the first 4 games, not able to find a goal there. And that's a great early opportunity for this Mexico team. As that shot just bouncing wide. Tatiana Flores, a really interesting story. She has the opportunity to play with the England national team, but has decided to choose Mexico. She plays for Chelsea. She just scored 4 goals recently in a Chelsea under-17 game against Brighton and Hove Albion. A really big talent for this Mexican program to get. And Flores has impressed in this competition, and I'm sure she'll look to impress as this game continues on. Good early attempt for number 19 in black tonight, Flores. Another ball trying to get it in behind. It was Amaya to cut it out for El Salvador. Sánchez heads it forward. And now Mexico starting to get a little bit more comfortable in this game. Amaya will chase it down in the corner. That ball did go out of play. It'll be a throw-in for Mexico, about 6 minutes gone. Good start to this one. Maribel Dominguez has been out in her technical area quite a bit. Some space to work in the middle. Played ahead for Maestre. It's Monroy there to step in defensively for Mexico, and does win a throw-in. Another thing that'll be interesting to watch as this game continues is El Salvador not making any changes coming into this game today in terms of the starting 11, and they've pretty much run out the same starting 11 in all 4 of their matches thus far. Although prior to this game, almost every game was played every other day. There were a few more days of rest in between the round of 16 and this game here today. Hey, last played on Friday. Mexico, 1 less day of rest. They played on Saturday. So maybe that helps El Salvador get their legs back underneath them. I'm sure they'll be ready to go for a game of this magnitude, especially against an opponent like Mexico. Trying to work that right side. This is a Mexico team that really struggled overall in terms of their friendlies and a tournament they played in the calendar year of 2021. They won just once out of 7 games. They beat the Netherlands in a friendly in September. As this is played through, Recinos will get on the end of this for El Salvador. She'll get all the way to the end line and try to square it, but she was very off balance there and going to ground. An easy pickup for Celeste Espino. Going back to what Mexico did in 2021, the last 3 games they played all in November, they played Spain, France, and Germany. They got outscored 10-0 in those 3 games. The Torneo Costa Dorada in Spain. This has been good for Mexico to get back on track, and they could potentially face one of those teams that they lost to in the upcoming World Cup this summer if they're able to advance. All the way into the corner. Now finally the flag comes for a foul on Uribe. It'll bail Mexico out there of a tough situation all the way in the corner. A lot of really good talent on this Mexico team. We'll see what El Salvador can do against them. As this is played over the top again, bouncing through, Recinos trying to take it on the volley. But Espino will be there to collect for Mexico. Recinos, it looked like she was onside, and Eric Acuna really has to like this start from his El Salvador side. Played into the corner, Maestre the long run. But it's Monroy who got there first. Maestre put the 2 hands on the back of the defender. An immediate whistle comes. Aside from the 1 breakaway opportunity for Mexico, not too many scoring opportunities. They've done a lot of defending here in the early going. El Salvador ramping up that pressure here pretty early on. Actually, right from the opening kickoff. Can they keep that up through 90 minutes? Eric Acuna knows the side he's up against can score a lot of goals and doesn't concede any, at least thus far. Oh, this slipped through. It's Vasquez, and it's saved by Dada. That That back line of El Salvador did well to get back defensively, but still, it was right through the heart of that back line initially. And this will be a foul against El Salvador to end the threat for a moment. Another look at this opportunity for Annette Vasquez. There's Leslie Calderon coming back defensively, one of the strikers for this El Salvador side. Vasquez, who has amassed almost 90 appearances with Chivas. Very experienced player, even at the young age of just 19. Her birthday coming up in about 3 days, though. Here's a free kick. Lofted in, headed forward, it falls at the top of the 6, and there's the finish. Maritza Maldonado opens the scoring for Mexico. Well, not a whole lot El Salvador could do there defensively. They cleared the way initially, but on this wet surface, the ball was sticking to the ground. Another look at it here, just lofting that ball in. The initial header coming from Carol Cazares, and it was Maldonado just kind of trailing the play, waiting for that deflection. It eventually came. It ended up being a failed clearance there by El Salvador, and it fell right to Maldonado, who was able to tap it home. A 13th minute goal, and the 5th goal of this competition for Maldonado. Dream start here for Mexico, able to fend off some early pressure. And when they've had opportunities coming into the attack, they have been very dangerous. And again, it was Maldonado bearing down on Andrea Dada in goal. So how does El Salvador react to going down early? Will Eric Acuna keep the pressure up? That's how they've been playing most of these games. Their only loss thus far, a 4-0 defeat to Canada. It's probably the toughest team that they have faced thus far as well. If you're El Salvador, you have to feel maybe a little bit unlucky based on the opportunity, or based on the fact that you had to play both Mexico and Canada in the group stage, and now here in this quarterfinal. But if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Thrown there on the far side for Daniela Monroy. As Mexico look for another. Leon has this deflect out of play. It's a corner kick coming for Mexico. It is the first of the game for either side, and another set piece for El Salvador to defend. Roy and Vasquez over in that far corner. They'll play this short. Vasquez will get it back right at the corner of the box, curling this in, and the diving header is just a bit too far out in front of Daniela Delgado. He was diving in at that back post, putting her body on the line. Just couldn't redirect it on frame. Really good idea there on the ball in from Vasquez. Just overhit it by a bit. Falls into the midfield. A good defensive play there on that back line for Mexico. We talked about the goals that El Salvador scored in the last game. They were taken very well. Can they maybe conjure up something like they did on Friday to get on the board here today? Monroy. Again, we'll just loft this up over the top, and it nearly fell for Maldonado again. It was Amaya, and now it's played through again. Maldonado's in, and Maldonado scores, but the flag is up for offside. It looked like that would be the case. And play will be held for just a moment so VAR can take a look at this. And actually, it was closer than I originally thought, but racing to get back on side, or to make that line a little bit higher there, was El Salvador, and they did well. And the play will stand as offside, so no goal. Maldonado. Good quick passing here from Mexico to spring into the attack, and it was Tatiana Flores who just ran out of room down the near touchline. A throw into El Salvador. Skipping out of play, another throw in for El Salvador, who are now having a bit of trouble playing out of their defensive half. It also just shows you what the changes made by either manager or lack thereof for El Salvador, just how deep this Mexico team is, where you can sit 3 players who have combined for 12 goals. You still have good goal scoring, and there's Tatiana Flores. Oh, she's going for it and just missed. Showing some tremendous skill in the midfield and then nearly scoring from 40 yards out. Almost catching Andrea Dada off her line. Another look at this. And just take in this skill. First by Delgado to fend off a couple of defenders. That move right there. And then not even a hesitation, picking the head up and trying to go for goal. That just shows you the talent that Tatiana Flores has. Remember, she's already in the Chelsea system in West London. Had options to choose to play for England, but decided to choose Mexico, at least for now. Delgado right at the base of that midfield. And again, using her strength to fend off. That time it was Carolina Ayala. And it's played over the top for Flores once again. Dada at the top of her box, able to slide in and end the threat. Delgado once again puts her body on the line, but keeps it for Mexico. Long over the top, and again cleared away by Cazares. Marroquin. And Batista. And now Mexico almost into the attack. The pass by Maldonado just off the mark. And Mexico really starting to get down to business here, keeping the ball and dictating how they want to play this game, even through some of that pressure from El Salvador. Uribe able to win this. Uribe now will keep it for El Salvador. Calderon over the top. Recinos making the run. She went down and will stay down for a moment as play continues on. Now it's out of play for a throw-in, and the referee will stop play. It's Isabella Recinos who looks like is holding her hand there. Passionate talk there by head coach Maribel Dominguez. Oh, you wonder maybe if they're trying to pop something back into place there on an awkward fall. Now they're holding that right hand. Recinos has been a big part of El Salvador's run to this quarterfinal, the farthest they've ever gone in this competition in just their third appearance. Recinos has scored twice for El Salvador in the 4 previous matches. So play will continue on. It's Delgado looking for space on the far side. Reyes closed it down quickly. He just has to clear this away. Well, the thing about the way El Salvador likes to play with the pressure and the counter pressing is that they really don't need the ball for long periods of time. When they get it, they like to go quick. Unfortunately, though, for them, they haven't been able to get upfield as quick as they want. And nothing has really transpired in terms of an attack. Still a long way to go in this one. Dada forced into duty again, sliding in and taking away the opportunity from Tatiana Flores. Lofted over the top, Maldonado coming on. It's Dada once again. Mexico's really been able to pick out some passes right in behind that back line. But Dada's also been there to play sweeper keeper when needed. And I don't think that's the end of her sweeper keeper duties tonight. Play down the line. A good touch there by Emily Batista, who tries to roll this towards the top of the area. It was good recovery there by Reyes, but now this is played back into the corner. Maleon will get there. She'll stand across up right towards the back post, and it was Maldonado who couldn't get the header on target. But another good opportunity there, fashioned by this Mexico side. They've scored one, and they're looking like they are ready to score another. This is headed forward, and because one of the center backs takes the goal kick, she has to rush to get back in defense, and that's why everybody was on side there. El Salvador really has to be careful about that, as now Dada sends this downfield. They're not able to keep the ball right away. They have to prevent Mexico from trying to go quickly. Here's Recinos, who's back on the field after that injury. And again, picked up by Daniela Delgado for Mexico. Reyes down the line for Maestre. It's just cleared away by Cazares. Put in play quickly. Stepping over challenges is Annette Vasquez. Vasquez still going and eventually gets taken off the ball, but only for a throw-in. Vasquez is fouled by Amaya. It's a free kick right on the near side coming from Mexico. Remember, they scored on a similar set piece just on the other side of the field. It's Monroy who stands over this one. Plenty of depth to this. Good clearing header by Victoria Sanchez, and the opportunity from well outside the area is skied over the bar. Since going back to 2006 for this Mexico team, the lowest they have finished is third place. They won it in 2018 when it was contested in Trinidad and Tobago. And the runners-up in 2020, losing out to the United States. Aside from that, it's been 4 third-place finishes and 2 other runners-up in 2010 and 2014. Marroquin is their college soccer at Washington State University, up in the Pac-12. Made 5 appearances for the Cougars in her freshman season. Now Vasquez through the lines for Maldonado. Can she latch onto this? And you can see Dada having to play so high off her line, usually at the top of that 18-yard box, and can't really drop as quick as she wants because Mexico been able to play those balls right in behind the back line. She has to be there to clean it up. But here's Uribe for El Salvador. Oh, good spin. Ayala keeps it for El Salvador, but only for a moment. And it's played in behind. An opportunity to run onto this for Flores. Flores now will square it. A one-touch by Maleon, and it ends the threat. It's a good defensive play put in. If you're Flores, maybe just take that yourself. Be a little bit unselfish. You can't fault her for looking for a teammate. Is put out of play by Cazares. In the final 15 minutes of this first half. El Salvador has had to do quite a bit defensively. Last gasp defending. Can they find an opportunity to try to beat Celeste Espino in Mexico's goal? Picked up by Vasquez again. And here comes Mexico. That ball right through the middle. Just too strong on this one. Will come all the way through for Andrea Dada. Flicked along. Uribe will try to keep it moving. Couldn't do so, though. Put her header straight up into the air. And now it's Maritza Maldonado. Options await in the middle. This one squared and then cleared away. And a foul will end the threat. Monica Mencia brought down by the oncoming Tatiana Flores. Again, Mexico able to find that space in a wide position. The fullbacks trying to get up the field. And Amaya and Reyes on the left. As Guillen sends this all the way downfield. Skipping through for Uribe. On the turn. Uribe with options in the middle. Played ahead for Recinos, but this too close to Celeste Espino. Good play here. Monroy able to get into an advanced position. Puts the cross in. Mexico trying to win that second ball. They will. It's Delgado, whose shot is blocked down. Now Vasquez slips it in for Maldonado. Flag stays down for now. Chip towards the back post. Oh, it's a great finish. Mexico score again. This will be looked at, but for now, Natalia Maleon finds Mexico's second goal, and it's 2-0. Great build-up on the goal for Mexico. Another look at this. Did everybody stay on side? It looked like just right across the face of goal. All Maleon had to do was pretty much just get a touch on that to redirect it on frame. She did more than that. She put it in the top corner. A really good finish, sliding in and skipping up off this very wet surface. Right onto her laces, and Mexico able to double its advantage. It's Maleon's second goal of this competition, the Club America product. With 10 minutes to go in the first half, it's a long way back for El Salvador now. In that last game against the Dominican Republic, El Salvador raced out to a 3-0 lead before the Dominican Republic cut it to a 3-2 game. And now El Salvador on the other side of that coin, they'll need to come back in this one. The only time they've trailed was in that 4-0 loss to Canada. And this game, unfortunately for them, looking eerily similar. Good play by Delgado, even though she's on the ground, able to win it for Mexico, and it might spring them into an attack. Sánchez moves it off to the far side, and Isabella Recinos. Played ahead for Uribe on the turn. Can Uribe get a shot off? Gets back to her left foot, now plays it through the middle. Calderon couldn't win it off the foot of Cazares. And Mexico will keep this in play. Threat gone. Amaya for Recinos. Uribe, and now the shot from distance. It was Espino just trying to get her body in the way. Didn't know where that ball was going to bounce. You can see the divots, and it's of course a wet surface at the moment. Shows up more on those white jerseys than it does the black. This will be a throw-in for El Salvador. They'll take it quick. Maestre trying to get around Delgado, and finally does. Maybe the first one to get away from her tonight. Trying to cut in field, but Monroy wins it back again. And space to work down the right. It's Flores, a burst of pace. Maldonado's in the middle. Flores will take this, and it's saved by Dada. And then sliding in at the last moment, trying to win that back. But Dada is able to hold on to it. Looks like a sub is preparing to come on already for Eric Acuna and El Salvador. You wonder if this is for injury or a tactical substitution, but this has kind of been the sub that El Salvador has made at times throughout this competition. It'll be Maleli Gomez coming on for Andrea Maestre. First sub of the game for El Salvador. Again, played through the middle. Gomez not able to get there. He just pushes away Samantha Lopez in the process. Trying to play through the lines here, Mexico. Just keeping it away from El Salvador in the process. Nice little dummy to let that run through. And the quick ball over the top will funnel all the way through for Espino. Monroy let that bounce on and ran out of real estate there on the far side. Reyes not able to put that into a dangerous enough area. About 5 minutes to go in this first half. Mexico opening the scoring through Maritza Maldonado in the 13th minute. About 20 minutes later, Natalia Maleon able to find another for Mexico. That is where we stand just before halftime. There's already one semifinal that is set. It'll be on Thursday. The United States taking on Puerto Rico in the first one. The second one will be the winner of this game against the winner of Canada and Panama, which is taking place about an hour away in San Cristobal. Will it be the big three representing Concacaf once again, in the United States, Mexico, and Canada, at least in this competition? There have only ever been two other teams that have qualified for the Under-20 World Cup, that being Haiti and Costa Rica, who actually host this upcoming summer. Flores moves this along. Marroquin back for Flores. Good touch in a tight space. Gets the shot away. It's saved by Dada. The follow-up is also saved. And now cleared away. Good goalkeeping there. But again, Tatiana Flores showing what quality she has. Able to work in such tight space. Just 17 years old is Flores, and a real talent for this Mexico national team. Vasquez takes this from distance. Dada taking no chances with the wet ball, just pushing this out of play. And it's a throw-in upcoming, or pardon me, a corner kick upcoming. But here's another look at Flores, even as she's being wrestled to the ground, able to get the shot away, forcing a save. And then the last opportunity with Dada pushing it away. Mexico will take the corner short. Now we'll put the cross in. It's punched away. Dada was fouled and still made the save right as the whistle came. Here's Gomez as El Salvador tries to go quickly. It's Reyes. And Racinos. Now it's given away. There's Flores. Trying to pick out that long diagonal ball. Here's Uribe. Uribe trying to stream forward. I think she got the last touch on that one. It will be a goal kick. Again, this back line's been so tough to beat for Mexico as they come into this game 22-0 overall. Played through the middle. Racinos trying to take the shot on. It was blocked down. A throw-in upcoming, and we'll learn how much stoppage time we'll get at the end of this first half as well. It'll be 1 additional minute. A lot for Eric Acuna to go over here at halftime with his team. As things stand, they would be eliminated. It'll be a tough way back against this really tough Mexico side. As this is played down the line, some room to work. Here comes Mexico looking for a third. The shot trying to chip the goalkeeper. Oh, what a goal! It's a second goal for Natalia Maleon. It's 3-0 to Mexico. Once again, Andrea Dada having to play off her line, trying to cut down the angle, and the degree of difficulty was very high on that one. Just able to stay on side, and right before halftime, Mexico add a third. Decided, I don't want to go to the left or the right. I want to go right over the top. That's exactly what she did, and a beautiful finish. So Maleo now with 2 goals, and with 3 goals total in this competition. A first half brace, and that will bring us to halftime. Well, Mexico starting to run away with this one, but it's still within striking distance if El Salvador can fancy a few more chances, but Mexico looking like the stronger of the two sides through 45 minutes. We've reached halftime in this quarterfinal from Santo Domingo. It's Mexico 3, it's El Salvador 0.
Vamos si quieren ahí ahorita.
Highlights from the first 45 minutes of action between El Salvador and Mexico in this quarterfinal. The winner moving on to take on either Canada or Panama, but this was an early opportunity coming for Mexico, and that really the chances would keep on coming throughout the first half. Natalia Maleon, a really strong first 45 minutes. That was nearly an assist. She would later get 2 goals. We'll see those soon. But then it would be the first goal coming off a set piece, a failed clearance, and Maritza Maldonado popping up in the right place, able to slot that one home for 1-0. Her 5th goal in this competition, now has her 2nd on the team in goal scoring. They would get another opportunity. This a diving chance at the back post. Daniela Delgado, who has scored twice, but has mostly made her mark in the midfield of tonight's game. There she is, trying to spark an attack, playing this through for Tatiana Flores, who's showing her skill in this game as well, and nearly scoring a stunner. That would have been some sort of goal. Delgado able to move that along. Flores just curling it wide of the post. There would be another goal, though, for Mexico, and it would come right here, clipped up to the back post. Great assist by Maritza Maldonado. Doesn't get the goal on this one, but does get the assist, and this was the first of 2 for Natalia Maleon in that first 45 minutes. Let's look at it again, skipping up off that wet surface. Maleon able to track it down just right at that back post, put it across the frame of goal, and find another one. And then Flores coming in, but forcing a save out of Andrea Dada. Tatiana Flores seems like she's going to get on the score sheet, but so far has yet to do so. Cannot beat the goalkeeper. Flores again forcing a save out of Dada. It would be 2 saves here for Dada, with Maleon picking that one up on the far side, but she would later get another opportunity just before halftime and from a similar angle. Another shot from distance, and another save from Andrea Dada in goal. She's had to make quite a few in this first half, but this would be the final goal of the half to make it 3-0, and it'll be a 2nd goal for Natalia Maleon, just chipping the goalkeeper about 18 yards out, able to place it right over the top and right into the back of the net. Able to ripple the nylon and make it 3-0. A really strong first half. It took Mexico a little bit to get into this game, but they have come into it with plenty as they have 3 goals through 45 minutes. A look at the first half stats, and the shots really tell you the story there, including the possession. El Salvador, not really a possession-based team, but they've conceded a lot of it to Mexico, who have had plenty of opportunities to score even more than just the 3 they have put up. So we'll see if El Salvador come out to come back, or it'll be Mexico moving on to the semifinal. Stay tuned, second half coming up. Getting set for the second 45 minutes, and some subs being made here by Mexico. It'll be Alexandra Ramirez, Silvana Flores, and Isabella Gutierrez coming on to replace Daniela Monroy, Daniela Delgado, and Annette Vasquez. Really strong game from all three of those players who are making their way off the field after 45 minutes, and I presume with an eye on what is to come later this week in the semifinals, which is really the big prize at the end of this competition. Not only trying to win this competition, but also getting on to the Under-20 World Cup later on this summer. That will be in the Concacaf region in Costa Rica. But before we can think about that, still 45 more minutes of action here from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and Estadio Olímpico Félix Sánchez. I'm Josh Easter. Thanks so much for being with us. This quarterfinal between Mexico and El Salvador is underway. And it has been a dominant game so far for this Mexico team. 3 goals spaced out pretty much evenly, and right at the end of that first half. And could that be really a knockout punch for El Salvador? Will they be able to get back up and keep going? 3-0 against this Mexico team, really a tough hill to climb with how organized they have been defensively and how potent they have been coming into the attack as well. So we'll see what happens over these next 45 minutes, but it's a long way back, no doubt, for El Salvador. And there's Silvana Flores, of course the sister of Tatiana. She plays for Tottenham Hotspur, Silvana does. It's an interesting dynamic in the Flores household. They were actually born in Canada to a Mexican father and a Canadian mother of English descent, and that is why they were able to grow up. Silvana actually grew up in the academies of Arsenal and Chelsea, spent some time with Reading, and now with Spurs. Silvana Flores also participated in that 2018 Under-17 Women's World Cup, where Mexico were the runners-up. Flores trying to track this down. Instead, it'll be touched out of play by Monica Mancia. At halftime in the game between Canada and Panama, 1-0 to Canada on a penalty. So that game's still very much in the balance in San Cristobal. You can see players losing their balance and how beat up this field has been. Heavy rainfall earlier today. There was standing water on the field in the previous half. You can see the effect it's had on the white jerseys, not as white as they once were. Free kick here from distance. Linda Guillen will take this on. It's right in the arms of Celeste Espino in goal today for Mexico. Did not play in the round of 16. It was Paula Manrique who got the start there for Maribel Dominguez. Played through the middle. Tatiana Flores trying to get there and get around the goalkeeper, who comes sliding off her line. Flores from a tough angle, not able to steer it on frame. And again, this El Salvador back line completely broken through. Able to get around the goalkeeper who was sliding out. Luckily for Dada, she didn't make contact with Flores. That may have been a red card if so. But just enough to force a heavy touch, and that ball then cleared out of play. As Linda Guillen will send this downfield and then has to rush back on side. Sinos. Cross coming through off of Gomez, picked up by Sanchez and right back for Gomez. It was a close offside call. And now the flag does come up for offside. Boy, that would have been interesting if it went to VAR. It looked like the foot of the last defender may have been keeping her on side. It would have been really, really close. But all for naught as that shot went out of play. Brought in by Sanchez and moved along for Racinos. Gomez awaits in the middle. The cross coming in, and it's dealt with by Espino. He was able to read that all the way. And look at this distribution. Flores got the first touch on it, and now trying to play that through on the far side. It was just touched and taken out of the path of Maldonado. Ahead for Gomez again. Nothing doing there as this is cleared away. Uribe. Lift this forward against Sanchez. Clever turn, trying to get a shot on goal, and does! Victoria Sanchez pulls one back for El Salvador. There's a glimmer of hope once again for El Salvador, and that's the first goal that Mexico has conceded. Another look at this, just touching this right by Espino. Crafty little turn by the captain, and Sanchez is able to get on the board for El Salvador. That could be a big goal. But don't forget, this El Salvador team, they were up 3-0 against the Dominican Republic. The DR came back to make it a 3-2 game, just make things interesting. For El Salvador won 5-2 in that game. Now it's the opposite. Can El Salvador come back and find another couple of goals? Going to be difficult, but there's still an opportunity there with plenty of time left to go. Before that goal, Mexico, the goal difference was 25-0. Now it's 25-1. El Salvador have that one. Space to work for Mexico. They'll move it off to this right side. Pass just off the mark and cleared away. And another sub coming on here. Kimberly Guzman will come on to replace Samantha Lopez. Already the fourth sub used by Maribel Dominguez and Mexico. This is the first substitution window they have used. The other three coming at halftime. Shots currently 16-2 at the moment in favor of Mexico. And yet, El Salvador still in with a shout here. Amaya. And now Mexico able to win this back in a good area, looking for another one, and this one fired into the side netting. Just onto the field in halftime, Silvana Flores. Just wide of the post. You have to figure Mexico will be looking to add on to this advantage, and will have opportunities to do so as well. Flores ahead for her sister Tatiana, who gets the cross away. Good ball in, and Reyes got a head on it just to put that out of the reach, and it looked like Maleon was crashing in. Gomez is taken away again. Slipped through to the outside. Cross fizzled through and pushed away by Dada, but only the top of the area. Silvana Flores takes it on, it's blocked. El Salvador trying to clear this and having trouble doing so. Tatiana Flores steps in, and that shot nearly hit the player that went down for El Salvador. That being Andrea Maya. So a free kick after the foul by Tatiana Flores. Again, played through. Maleon looking for a hat trick. It was just touched by Dada, who was able to stay in the box. Oh, a nervy moment there from the goalkeeper. Usually when you slide out like that, sometimes you don't know how far you're going to slide. And luckily for her, that ball was inside the 18-yard box. Trying to go quickly. Actually, I think VAR is taking a look at this. This is going to be interesting here. The throw-in was held, and now it looks like okay to continue on. Just a quick check. Tim Ford, today's VAR, along with Odette Hamilton. Deflected down by Maleon. This trickles into the box. Sweeping clearance there. Again, we'll put this out for a throw, and Amaya coming over from her right back position. Reyes, looked like she got the last touch on it. She did. It's a corner kick again for Mexico. They played a lot of these short thus far. Let's see what the decision is here. Gutierrez to take. This will be an outswinger towards the top of the 6, and the header going just wide. It was a clearing header, though, so it'll be another opportunity here for Mexico from the corner flag. Again, it's Isabella Gutierrez. Driving this in again to a similar position, pushed along and finally cleared out of the area by Gomez. Recinos trying to get out and run. Good defensive play by Amanda Marroquin. Played ahead for Maleon. On the turn, finds space on the near side. Bautista. She tried to take that herself. And it was touchdown to play once again. It's Gutierrez who will take this. We pass the hour mark from Santo Domingo. Outswinging ball coming through and cleared. But Mexico still able to keep this. Lofted forward once again. Room to work on the left. Again put into the middle, but this time taken by Andrea Dada. Sliding challenge by the captain, Sanchez. She's putting it all on the line here for this El Salvador team. The distribution off the mark, looking for Amaya. No matter how this game turns out for El Salvador, still the farthest they've ever gotten in this competition. In 2020, they made the round of 16 for the first time. And of course, this year, able to get into the quarterfinals, maybe more, depending on how this last half hour or so goes. Really, you can see the commitment in this federation, both at the men's and women's level, as the women's side tries to go through W qualifiers to qualify for the W championship this summer in Monterrey. Flores getting onto this, felt some contact from behind. Not enough for a whistle. Dada scoops it up and clears. This will go all the way back to Espino. Another whistle and a free kick. That's a Mexico team that has qualified for 8 straight under 20 Women's World Cups. We'll take another look at this foul. 9 of the last 10 going back to 2002. Farthest they've gone, though, when they've gotten the World Cup is the quarterfinals. They'll be able to rewrite some of that history and get there this summer. Free kick played forward and cleared. Tough challenge there coming from behind. It won't be a card, just a talking to. It is again. Just taking down Linda Guillen. Recinos. Uribe trying to play that in behind, but again stepping in was Cazares. This will be a whistle and a foul. It looks like, yep, a free kick to El Salvador. Here's Isabella Recinos, who stands over it for El Salvador. Recinos curling in, immediately cleared away. And right back to Recinos. Again, the clearing header. This Mexico team so tough to beat, as you can tell from what they've done in this competition. Now a yellow card shown. Be the first of the match, and it does go to Carolina Ayala. Slowing down that counter-attacking opportunity. Some call it a professional foul. Taking down Maritza Maldonado, tonight's first goal scorer. Only been one goal scored in this second half, and it's been scored by El Salvador. Sánchez able to find that goal about 10 or so minutes ago. One more El Salvador goal, and things get really interesting. Oh, this is a back pass that Dada has to deal with. Nervy moments there for Mexico, or pardon me, for El Salvador, with Mexico trying to take advantage. Plays it ahead, and only one player there for an outlet. Again, another free kick coming for El Salvador. Midway through this second half. We're into the final quarter of this game. Business end of this game, and really of this competition as well. We'll be moving on to those all-important semifinals as Guillen lifts this forward. It's headed clear. Coming through and hitting the ground hard. And here comes Mexico again on the counterattack. Touched around the corner. Can Flores get there? Some contact there with Emily Reyes, who I think wanted a foul. Flores just with some tough play. And a corner kick coming from Mexico. Again, it's Gutierrez from this near side corner. Just out of the reach of Cazares and cleared away. Oh, look at that skill in tough spots. And a free kick coming for Mexico again. Amanda Marroquin making a few players miss. And a substitution coming. This will be Alexia Villanueva. And that'll be for Tatiana Flores. This is the last sub of the match. Really strong 70 or so minutes for Tatiana Flores. And the final sub of the match for Mexico brings on Alexia Villanueva. 3 goals for Villanueva so far at this Concacaf Women's Under-20 Championship.
Damas y caballeros, sustitución por el equipo de México.
Free kick again taken.
19, Tatiana Flores.
Cazares on the volley just puts this out of play. It's a player on the ground here for El Salvador.
Minuto 69.
Looks like Calderon able to get back up on her own power. Oh yeah, look at that, the knee right into the back. Played over the top again. Sánchez running onto this. Victoria Sánchez with options in the middle will go for the curler. And just puts it wide. Oh, that was another great opportunity there. Showed tremendous skill on the first goal. And nearly pulled off something spectacular there again. Another whistle and a free kick going El Salvador's way. We're starting to run out of time. More and more of those chances like Victoria Sánchez just found a few moments ago. Those have been few and far between against a very strong back line of Mexico. Guillen can really launch it down the field from a dead ball. Maleon. Throw in for Mexico. Played through and just too far for Villanueva. Trying to latch onto that. Just could not make it happen. On your way through, Marroquin almost finds Villanueva via a few deflections. Gutierrez steps up, finds Maleon, who's still sitting on a hat trick after the first half brace. Collision there as Villanueva came in. Not enough for a whistle to stop play. Now Flores taking off the ball. Ayala looking for Sánchez. Gomez coming over, didn't get there in time. Maleon for Villanueva, who just left it there for Maleon. Weaving into the middle. Can she finish off the hat trick? Not here. Boy, that would have been a special way to find a third goal. And you can see that no matter who Maribel Dominguez puts on the field, there is talent all across the 11 for Mexico. And potentially a date with Canada, at least at last look. Will be coming up in the semifinal. It's still 1-0 to Canada at the same point in the game in San Cristobal. The winner of this one plays the winner of Canada-Panama. The United States will take on Puerto Rico after Puerto Rico took down Guatemala at 3-0 and the United States took down Haiti by a score of 6-0. Flores sprays this down the left, and room to work here for Mexico. Option to wait in the middle. This cut back towards the penalty spot. Cleared away. Now the shot from distance. It was faked and passed along. Flores picks it up again. Through the lines. Everybody stayed onside because of Flores. Villanueva streaming in to put this away. It's off the crossbar. From that sort of distance, you expect Villanueva to put that away. But El Salvador, another lifeline. This flicked along. Gomez ahead for Sanchez. Going for the chip and put out of play. Boy, that could have been a huge swing if El Salvador could have found a goal. But going back to the other end, and Villanueva putting this square off the crossbar, rattling the whole frame. And then Victoria Sanchez just overhitting this a little bit. Needed a bit more precision rather than the power. And a goal kick here for Mexico. Maleon gets around the corner. Maleon still coming in. Maleon looking for the hat trick. Squares it across, bouncing through and cleared off the line. This game really starting to open up in terms of chances for both sides. Flores stays on her feet. Gets the cross away. Failed clearance off the two players that were still on the floor. Now maybe a chance from distance. This taken on a line and just wide. Wow, what an opportunity that time by Isabela Gutierrez. These players really putting on a show. The dip on that ball right at the last moment. I think Andrea Dada happy to see that one be wide of goal. And now Linda Guillen for the goal kick. Uribe. It was a heavy touch to concede possession. And a substitution. It will be for El Salvador. Andrea Racinos will be coming on and replacing Monica Mencia. Second sub of the game used by Erica Cunha and El Salvador. Just some fresh legs here. Should be a like-for-like substitution. Villanueva, little hesitation, gets her to the end line. This ball just trickles out of play. It was last off Guillen. Villanueva's down and holding that left ankle. It will be a corner kick though for Mexico when they are ready to take this. The corner kick as they are ready for it. Isabela Gutierrez curls this in. The header is on and in! It's a fourth for Mexico, and that should surely put them in to the semifinals. Carol Cazares puts the finishing touches on this one. The service absolutely perfect from Isabella Gutierrez. And Cazares flying in unmarked. Again on the replay, perfect delivery. And that's exactly where you want to be if you're a center back on a corner kick. Flying in unmarked and able to redirect that right by Andrea Dada. And with 10 minutes to go, Mexico firmly in command. Well, Salvador was hanging around. They had a few opportunities to cut in the deficit. But you feel with 9 minutes to go, might just be a mountain too steep to climb at this point. Now, Maleon will get there for Mexico. Got an initial touch on it before Uribe and Reyes closed down. Mexico maybe looking for more. Maleon. She'll provide the service this time. Header clears it away. Stepping up again in this through for Andrea Dada. Shots really tell the story in this one. 24-4 in favor of Mexico. They have another free kick here. A dangerous position. Curled in towards the back post. Oh, what a delivery and what a header. Kimberly Guzman this time for Mexico. Mexico looking as dominant as ever. Their third game in this competition with 5 goals. Perfect delivery there, looking for Kimberly Guzman. And again, Isabella Gutierrez, second straight goal with an assist. Gutierrez, one of those halftime substitutes. Just shows you the quality on this team for Mexico. And remember, this game started with 12 goals sitting on the bench that have been scored so far in this competition, including Aileen Aviles, who has scored 6. Now 5 minutes to go, and Mexico just trying to see this out now at this point. Eric Acuña's team has put up a valiant effort tonight. In the end, going to fall just a little bit short of reaching those semifinals. would have guaranteed themselves at least 2 more games if they could have won this one tonight. That's what Mexico will do. They don't win that semifinal against either Canada or Panama, which is looking like it's going to be Canada. They will go to the 3rd place game where they will play the loser, the game between the United States and Puerto Rico. And of course, the 2 winners will meet in the final. That will be this weekend. Another foul. Sanchez heads this forward. She's been very active all over the field tonight, as she really has in this whole tournament. And here she's popping up again, but it wasn't her to get the touch on it this time. It was Andrea Recinos, who's actually slotted in that front line since coming on for El Salvador. Not too many touches thus far, though. More pressure put on by Sanchez. Recinos moves this along. Gomez going for something spectacular. And again, it's brought down by Celeste Espino. Play down the line once again. Infield for Marroquin, who keeps it moving. Villanueva didn't get the contact she was looking for there, although her momentum was taking her well away from goal. Got 90 seconds to go in this one before we find out how much stoppage time there will be tacked on at the end. Just a few subs and a couple of goals to celebrate, mostly for Mexico, although there has been one in this second half for El Salvador. Here comes Mauleon. Oh, she was barreled over there, running right into Guillen. She'll take a moment to get back to her feet. That was a heavy collision. Marroquin. Played all the way back to Espino. Just trying to play keep away at this point. And there will be no stoppage time. That is the end play here tonight from Santo Domingo. Mexico, a thorough victory tonight over El Salvador, who will exit this competition after having made it as far as they ever have before. Really strong showing from El Salvador, but tonight it's Mexico's turn to celebrate. They will move on to the semifinals, or a trip to the final, and the Under-20 World Cup later on this year will be at stake. It finishes tonight from Santo Domingo in Estadio Olímpico. Félix Sánchez, El Salvador 1, Mexico 5.
Nos encontramos con Carol Cázares. Carol, muchísimas felicidades, un gran encuentro que logran ganar ante la selección de El Salvador y el pase a semifinales. ¿Sus opiniones de este partido?
Pues nosotros teníamos un objetivo claro, que era pasar al siguiente partido, y pues muy contentas todas las jugadoras, mis compañeras. También felicitar a El Salvador por su trabajo.
Se acercan a la gran meta como es la clasificación mundialista, aunque en las semifinales se estarán enfrentando a Canadá.
Pues sí, sabemos que Canadá ha jugado bien, ha ganado sus partidos, pero nosotras tenemos nuestros objetivos claros y pues vamos con todo.
¿Qué conocen de las canadienses?
Pues que son rápidas y tocan bien el balón. Bien. Eso. Gracias.
Highlights from this quarterfinal match between Mexico and El Salvador. Winner moving on to the semifinals to take on either Canada or Panama. And it was Mexico who really came out of the gate, guns a-blazing, ready to go for this one. And they would put the pressure on this El Salvador back line all night long. But early on, it was Annette Vasquez forcing a save out of Andrea Dada. And then this would be the opening goal of the game, just able to keep that alive. And picking up that loose ball, Maritza Maldonado able to fire that home, and Mexico would not look back from that. They would have the lead the entire way, but for Maldonado, able to find her 5th goal of this competition, 2nd leading scorer for this Mexico team. Delgado diving in here at the back post, just a bit too far out in front of her, and not able to get a touch on that. The skill shown in this game by just a few of these Mexico players, really remarkable. And you saw it there from Delgado and then from Tatiana Flores, who then fired the shot wide of net. A good opportunity there for Flores, but just putting that out wide. And then it would be another chance for Mexico, and this would be the second goal. Back post run, and Natalia Maleon able to redirect this back across the frame of goal into the top corner. No chance for Andrea Dada to keep that out. And the second goal of the night, and a first half double for Mexico, but they would get another one in just a few moments. It wouldn't be this one. This would be a good save there from Andrea Dada on the chance from Tatiana Flores. And again, Flores trying to battle through the middle, but Dada able to make the save once and then twice. And it keeps Mexico at 2-0 at that point. And then another shot from distance and another save coming for Andrea Dada, this time off the left foot of Annette Vasquez. This would be just before halftime, really one of the last plays before the halftime whistle. Natalia Maleon just chipping the goalkeeper, going up over the top. A first half brace for Mexico's number 11. And able to give Mexico a 3-0 lead going into the halftime break. Really good finish. There's a good angle. And then come the second half would be more of the same, although this would be something a little bit different. Victoria Sanchez, really good skill, able to turn that corner. Full spin move and then slots it right by the goalkeeper. And able to give El Salvador a lifeline. That made it 3-1. Really good goal there by Victoria Sanchez. Puts it into the back of the net. But Mexico again would look for more. Natalia Maleon. This time not able to get it to go. That would have been a spectacular way to finish off that hat trick. And then Villanueva coming in. And she would ring the crossbar. It's about as square as you could ever hit it. And she hit it with some power behind the shot as well. Battling the whole frame, but it stays out. Another chance from distance. Again, Dada happy to see this one go by, but it'd be Isabella Gutierrez. She wouldn't do the goal scoring, she'd do the assisting. Like this one right here, coming right through the middle. Carol Cazares able to find another goal for Mexico. This one would really put the game away to make it 4-1. And wheeling off in celebration. How about one more for Mexico? Great service in by Gutierrez. Kimberly Guzman is able to score her first goal in this competition. Couple of substitutes hooking up for the fifth and final goal of the night. And that would bring us to the end where Mexico advance on to the semifinals. A look at the full-time stats, and the stats really do tell the story of this one. Everything in favor of Mexico. They were the dominant team, and they will be a tough out come the semifinals, where they will have a chance to move on to the final, or at least have a chance to move to the third place game with an opportunity to go to the Under-20 World Cup. But that'll do it here for our coverage from Santo Domingo and Estadio Olímpico. Félix Sánchez. For our entire crew, I'm Josh Eastern saying so long. It finishes Mexico 5, El Salvador 1.